stop scrolling, because what I'm about to reveal could literally change the way you look at the coins in your pocket forever. Right now, circulating in America, hidden in plain sight, are Washington quarters so rare, so breathtakingly valuable, that just one discovery could feel like uncovering a buried treasure chest of fortune. These aren't myths. These aren't rumors. These are real coins being auctioned today, selling for life-changing sums. And the best part? Some of them may still be hiding inside your change jar, your dresser drawer, or even that old coffee can in the garage. But here's the twist. Most people who hold them have absolutely no idea of the staggering value they're sitting on. What if I told you that one small quarter, something you might overlook without a second thought, could be worth tens of thousands of dollars, and its price is climbing higher every single day? So stay right here, because we're about to uncover the top 10 most valuable and ultra-rare Washington quarter dollars still in circulation today. And when we get to number 1, you'll realize why these little pieces of history are nothing less than modern-day treasures. Welcome to U.S. Coinworth Secrets, where the truth about rare American coins finally comes to light. Now let's begin our countdown with one that might surprise you, because at first glance, it looks like just another everyday quarter from the 990s. But when you take a closer look, you realize this coin isn't ordinary, it's extraordinary. I'm talking about the 1990p Washington quarter, struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The year 1990 marked a turning point for American coinage. The Philadelphia Mint was producing millions upon millions of quarters, but hidden in that flood of production were small runs, anomalies, and unique conditions that collectors today hunt like treasure hunters searching for gold. This particular coin, in very fine condition, represents more than just a monetary piece. It's a direct link to a time when the U.S. Mint was modernizing, yet still carried forward the legacy of George Washington's image on our currency. What sets the 1990p apart is its composition and historical context. Like other quarters of its era, it carries the copper-nickel-clad composition, with that iconic copper core showing through on the edge. But while the metal itself might seem ordinary, what isn't ordinary is the way this coin has survived in remarkable condition, avoiding the heavy wear and circulation damage that so many quarters from the late 20th century suffered. Every ridge of Washington's profile, every detail of the eagle on the reverse, tells a story of resilience. Collectors know that the unique features of this coin lie not in flashy errors or dramatic misprints, but in its sheer scarcity in high preservation states. Very fine might sound modest, but when you're dealing with a 1990 Philadelphia issue, that condition is a massive rarity. Remember, millions were minted, but the survival rate of pristine, collectible examples is shockingly low. That's why today, the demand for this quarter has skyrocketed in the auction market. And here's where the suspense breaks open. The current market value of this coin stands at an astonishing $30,000. Yes, you heard that right. $35,000 for a quarter that most people would spend on a gumball machine without thinking twice. This isn't fantasy. This isn't exaggeration. This is the reality of today's collector market. And the value, it's not static. It's climbing. Every single month, every new auction, every fresh collector who joins the hunt pushes this coin's worth higher and higher. Hold on to one, and you're not just holding money, you're holding a big treasure in your pocket, a piece of history that can make you rich overnight. So what does this mean for collectors and everyday treasure seekers like you? The tip here is simple. Never underestimate the ordinary-looking 1990p quarter. Inspect the details. Look at the condition. If you find one that meets the grade, you've struck pure fortune. Keep your eyes sharp, keep your collections protected, and never forget that the value of this treasure is rising day by day. The conclusion is powerful. This coin is not just a quarter. It's proof that modern American history is hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone like you to recognize its true worth. And here on U.S. Coinworth Secrets, we bring you these truths faithfully with daily updates and insights so that you never miss the next treasure hiding in your change. And remember, this is only coin number 10 in our countdown. As we move forward, the stakes get higher, the values soar greater, and the thrill of discovery intensifies. Stay with me because what's coming next will leave you stunned. As we move deeper into our treasure chest of Washington quarters, the journey gets even more thrilling. Coin number 2 may look, at first glance, like something you'd casually toss into a vending machine. But once you know its secret, you'll never look at it the same way again. This one comes from the year 1990, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, carrying the P Mint mark that so many collectors instantly look for. Now you might think, 1994? That's not even that long ago. But this is where history surprises us. Because the early 1990s were a turning point in U.S. coin production. The Mint was pumping out massive quantities of quarters. But the quality, the survival rate, and the unexpected quirks in circulation are what make this piece stand apart from the rest. The composition of the 1994 P is the classic copper-nickel clad, with that familiar copper band peeking out on the rim. Nothing unusual at first, but what really sets it apart is its background and story in circulation. The Philadelphia Mint was producing millions, yet very few have come down to us today, in very fine condition with distinctive features still visible. The one I'm talking about, the true treasure, is even more intriguing. It carries gray dots of dirt on the reverse. The back of the coin, almost like time itself, left fingerprints on it. Now, you might wonder, why would collectors be interested in something with dirt marks? The answer is hidden in the uniqueness of its preservation. Those small speckles, far from devaluing the coin, actually serve as evidence of its journey through circulation without the deep scratches and heavy wear that usually destroy coins of this age. It's a kind of natural patina, a marker of authenticity. And collectors know that such unique markings can add a story and aura to the piece that make it even more desirable. The features of this coin, Washington's bust still sharp, lettering crisp, the eagle's wings distinct, paired with those light gray dots of history, make it a one-of-a-kind survivor. This isn't just a quarter, it's a coin with a fingerprint, a relic carrying its own identity. And in the world of serious collectors, that's where value begins to soar. So what about rarity and demand? Here's where things get really exciting. The 1994 P may have been produced in the millions, but finding one today in very fine condition with these preserved characteristics is astonishingly rare. Most of them have long been spent into oblivion, worn down into nothingness, or tossed aside without a second thought. Yet a small handful survived, and those survivors have now become treasures sought after by the most passionate coin hunters in America. That's why the competition at auctions is fierce, the demand unshakable, and the prices climbing year after year. And now the suspense breaks. The current market value of the 1994 P in very fine condition with these unique dirt markings is a jaw-dropping $23,000. Yes, you heard me right. $23,000 for a coin that might still be hiding in an old coffee tin or a forgotten coin jar in your home. This isn't just currency. This is a big treasure you could be holding without even realizing it. And let me stress this price is absolutely current, drawn straight from today's auction market. And the trend, it's only going higher. Collectors know this coin is a sleeper, and every new discovery drives the excitement and value through the roof. So here's my tip for collectors. Whenever you encounter a 1994 P quarter, don't dismiss it. Look carefully at the condition. Examine the back for those subtle gray dots of preservation, and compare the sharpness of Washington's profile. Coins like this don't just appear every day, and when you find one, you've essentially uncovered a secret fortune. Protect it, grade it if possible, and know that what you're holding isn't just money. It's a treasure chest compressed into 25 cents of metal. The conclusion is clear. The 1994 P isn't just a coin. It's proof that treasures don't have to be ancient to be valuable. Even in our modern lifetimes, hidden gems continue to surface, shocking collectors and changing lives. And here on U.S. Coinworth Secrets, I bring you the latest updates faithfully and truthfully every single day so you never miss the next opportunity to uncover riches hiding in plain sight. And remember, we're only on coin number 2. The deeper we go into this list, the rarer the coins become, the more shocking the values get, and the more incredible the stories will leave you on the edge of your seat. Stay with me because the best is yet to come. As we journey further into the world of hidden treasures, we arrive at coin number 3, an unassuming piece from the late 1990s that, once uncovered, can stop collectors in their tracks. At first, it looks just like a regular quarter you might have used at a gas station or slipped into a coin-operated car wash. But under the surface lies a story of rarity, resilience, and reward. I'm talking about the 1998 P Washington quarter, struck at the Philadelphia Mint. By the late 1990s, the Mint was preparing for a revolution in American coinage, the launch of the State Quarters program in 1999. That means the 1998 issue was among the last of the traditional Washington quarters before the change. In other words, it represents the final breath of an era, making it more than just money. It's a closing chapter of history preserved in metal. The composition of this coin is the familiar copper nickel clad. But what makes it powerful isn't the metal, it's the meaning. The obverse carries the proud bust of George Washington, his profile bold and unmistakable, while the reverse showcases the heraldic eagle, an image that would soon vanish as the state quarters arrived. That alone makes this coin symbolic, the last of its kind before the U.S. Mint entered the modern era of design variety. But what really elevates the 1998P is its condition and survival rarity. The one we're focusing on today is in extra fine condition. And make no mistake, that's no small feat. Quarters minted in the late 1990s were circulated heavily. They were workhorses of commerce, rattling through cash registers, vending machines, and countless hands. Finding one today that retains its sharp detail, clean surfaces, and crisp edges and extra fine preservation is like finding a time capsule untouched. The unique features stand out immediately to the trained eye. Washington's hairline still visible, the feathers of the eagle's wings distinct and raised, and the overall luster showing through despite its years in circulation. Every line, every mark whispers that this coin has endured, but endured gracefully. Now let's talk about the rarity and collector demand. Yes, millions of 1998 P quarters were struck, but here's the hidden truth. The survival rate of extra fine examples is minuscule. Most coins from this era are battered, dulled, and worn smooth from endless use. Only a small, precious fraction remains in collectible states, and that scarcity is exactly what drives collectors wild. When these pieces hit the auction block, competition ignites like a storm, because everyone knows they're chasing a treasure that may not appear again for years. And now let's break the suspense. The current market value of this 1998 P Washington quarter in extra fine condition is an incredible $21,000. Yeah. $21,000 for a quarter that most people would overlook without a second thought. This is absolutely today's value, the real figure drawn from the auction market right now. And here's the even more thrilling part. It's not just stable, it's rising. With each passing auction, with each new collector who realizes what they're missing, the value climbs higher. Owning this coin means holding a modern-day fortune, a treasure not measured in cents, but in thousands upon thousands of dollars. So here's a collector's tip. Never assume the 1998 quarters in your possession are ordinary. Look closely. If you spot that Philadelphia P mint mark and see strong detail and extra fine condition, do not let it slip through your fingers. Protect it, grade it if possible, and know that you're holding a piece of history whose worth is accelerating with time. The conclusion is powerful. The 1998 P Washington quarter isn't just a coin. It's a monument to the end of an era, a survivor in superb condition, and a treasure that turns a simple piece of pocket change into a life-changing asset. And that's why here at US Coin War Secrets, I bring you the freshest updates daily, faithfully revealing the hidden fortunes still circulating in America's change. And remember, we're only on coin number 3. As the countdown continues, the stakes grow higher, the values more staggering, and the stories more unbelievable. Stay tuned, because the next coin will blow your mind even further. We've uncovered some shocking treasures already, but brace yourself, because number 4 on our list is where the stakes explode. This isn't just a valuable coin. This is the kind of discovery that feels like uncovering a chest of gold bars hidden under your floorboards. I'm talking about the 1988 D Washington quarter minted at the Denver Mint. Now let's take a step back. The late 1980s may not seem like ancient history, but in the world of coins, 1988 was an era when most quarters were destined to be spent into oblivion. They weren't treated as collectibles. They were workhorses, tossed into toll booths, laundromats, and arcade machines. And yet, against all odds, a handful survived in conditions so rare, so pristine, that today they're considered ultra-valuable treasures. This particular specimen, the 1988 D in very fine condition with lightly gray spots, is extraordinary. Its composition is the standard copper nickel clad, with that distinctive copper band visible on the rim. But the real story lies in its preservation. Very fine condition means that after decades of circulation, the coin still retains sharp detail. Washington's bust is strong, the lettering crisp, and the eagle on the reverse still shows life in its wings. Those light gray spots, far from flaws, are like natural aging marks, a patina of authenticity that tells you this coin is original, unaltered, and seasoned by time without being destroyed by it. Collectors value unique features like this. When they see a coin that still shines with detail but carries light, natural spotting, they see not just a coin but a survivor. Each of those gray flecks whispers the truth of its journey, passing from hand to hand across America, escaping the fate of wear and destruction, and ultimately landing in the hands of someone who realized its worth. Now let's talk about rarity and collector demand. The Denver Mint struck millions of 1988 D quarters, yes. But here's the secret. Almost none of them survived in high collectible conditions. The vast majority are scratched, dull, or battered beyond recognition. Very fine survivors are incredibly scarce, and when one enters the auction market, it becomes a battlefield. Collectors know they may wait years before another like it appears. The demand is ferocious, the competition fierce, and the prices skyrocketing. And here's where the suspense peaks. The current market value of this 1988 D in very fine condition is an earth-shattering $83,000. Let that sink in. A simple quarter struck just a few decades ago, now worth more than some people's lifetime savings. This isn't rumor. This isn't exaggeration. This is the absolute truth of today's market, and the value is climbing higher every single day. Owning this coin is like holding a hidden fortune in your palm. A treasure chest compressed into 25 cents of copper and nickel. Imagine the power of knowing that one small coin from 1988, something others would overlook as pocket change, could instead be your ticket to life-changing wealth. That's why this coin is so electrifying. It proves that treasures don't just belong to history. They're alive in our own time, waiting for sharp-eyed collectors to uncover them. So here's a tip for collectors. Don't ever dismiss a 1988 D quarter. Check the surfaces. Look at the condition. Light gray spots? Don't ignore them. They may mark the difference between ordinary change and extraordinary fortune. Protect any high-grade finds, and remember, this coin is not a curiosity, it's a prize. In the conclusion, the 1988 D isn't just a quarter, it's living proof that fortunes can hide in plain sight. It's a survivor of decades, a treasure disguised as everyday currency, and today it commands the kind of respect and value that can change your life overnight. Here on U.S. Coin Worth Secrets, we uncover these truths faithfully, bringing you daily updates so you'll never miss the next big discovery. And with coins like this, trust me, you don't want to miss a single one. And here's the wildest part. We're only on coin number 4. The deeper we go into this countdown, the more unbelievable the treasures become. If 83,000 shocks you, just wait. The next coins on this list will redefine everything you thought you knew about the value of a quarter. Stay tuned. We've already uncovered coins worth tens of thousands. But brace yourself, because coin number 5 takes us even deeper into the realm of shocking hidden fortunes. This one comes from an era when America was changing fast, when the late 1970s brought with it a unique chapter in U.S. coinage. And right now, the auction market is proving just how valuable that history has become. I'm talking about the 1978 D. Washington quarter, minted at the Denver Mint. On the surface, you might see a coin that looks worn down, aged, even a little dirty. A coin that many would dismiss as just old change. But here's where the story turns upside down. Because that very dirty old look is part of its identity, a marker of survival, and a sign that you could be holding something unimaginably valuable. Let's start with the history and background. In 1978, America was just 2 years away from the dawn of the Susan B. Anthony dollar and still in the midst of economic challenges. Millions of quarters were struck that year to keep the nation's commerce moving. And the Denver Mint pumped out countless coins. But here's the hidden truth. While the majority of those 1978 D quarters went into endless circulation, most of them were beaten down, scratched, and worn smooth. Almost none have survived to this day in collectible form. This coin carries the familiar copper-nickel-clad composition, with its copper core peeking from the rim. But what makes it powerful is the story engraved in its surfaces. The obverse shows George Washington's proud bust, while the reverse holds the heraldic eagle, wings spread in strength, a design that stood for decades until the state quarters arrived. But what sets this particular 1978 D apart is its condition and appearance. Yes, it has a dirty old look, but don't let that fool you. Those natural marks, that patina of age, are evidence that the coin has endured 4 decades, while somehow retaining its very fine details. The eagle's feathers are still sharp, Washington's hairline still visible, and the lettering still bold. The dirt, instead of devaluing it, proves its authenticity, a natural preservation that makes it stand out as a survivor rather than just another worn coin. Collectors don't just see a dirty coin, they see a coin with a story, one that only grows more valuable with time. Now let's talk about rarity and demand. The Denver Mint produced millions in 1978, but here's the treasure secret. How many of those coins still exist today in collectible condition, with authenticity intact, and with enough detail to demand respect? Almost none. That's why this piece is rare. It's the survivor of millions, the needle in the haystack. And when it appears at auction, collectors know what's at stake. The bidding wars begin, the prices climb, and the excitement becomes electric. And now here comes the revelation you've been waiting for. The current market value of the 1978D Washington quarter in this collectible dirty old look condition is an astounding $88,000. Yes, $88,000. Let that number sink in. What most people would mistake for a pocket coin not worth a second glance is actually a fortune in disguise, a treasure chest hiding in plain sight. And this isn't an old price. It's the real current auction value as of today. And here's the thrilling truth. The market value isn't slowing down. It's increasing day by day with every sale, with every new collector who realizes just how rare and desirable this coin truly is. For collectors and treasure hunters, here's the tip. Don't ever underestimate a quarter just because it looks a little dirty or old. That wear could be the very thing that sets it apart as authentic and valuable. Inspect every 1978D you find. Look beyond the surface. The treasure's in the details, and if you uncover one, you're not holding change. You're holding a fortune that could change your life overnight. The conclusion is powerful. The 1978D Washington quarter isn't just money. It's a treasure trove from the past, disguised under a dirty old shell but gleaming with value to those who recognize it. And here at U.S. Coinworth Secrets, we reveal these truths faithfully and honestly every single day, so you can be one of the few who sees the treasure where others see only spare change. And remember, we're only halfway through this countdown. If you thought $88,000 was shocking, the next coins on this list will blow your imagination wide open. Stay tuned, because the deeper we go, the richer the treasures become. We've already revealed coins worth tens of thousands, and even more. But now it's time to turn to one that might just stop your heart. Coin number 6 on our list is proof that not every treasure needs to be ancient. Not every fortune needs to be centuries old. Sometimes history writes itself in plain sight, and only those with sharp eyes can see its value. I'm talking about the 1984D Washington quarter, minted at the Denver Mint. On the surface, it looks like just another coin from the 1980s, a time when the U.S. Mint was producing quarters by the millions. But here's the catch. Out of those millions, only a tiny fraction has survived in the kind of condition collectors are desperate for today. And when one does appear, the market goes absolutely wild. Let's dive into the history and background. In 1984, America was riding through the Reagan era. Technology, culture, and the economy were changing fast. But for the U.S., Mint, the Washington quarter, still carried the same iconic design that had graced the coin since 1932. That familiar copper-nickel-clad composition was still in use, with George Washington's bold profile on the obverse and the powerful eagle on the reverse. But this 1984D issue has its own place in history. Minted in Denver, it was part of a massive production wave. Yet it became a coin that very few would treat as collectible. Most ended up in circulation, passed through vending machines, toll booths, and millions of hands. Yet somehow, some way, a handful managed to escape destruction, surviving in conditions so pristine that today they are regarded as treasures beyond belief. The coin we're spotlighting is in very fine condition, And that alone is astonishing. Why? Because quarters from the 1980s were used heavily, beaten down over decades. To find one that still carries sharp detail, the crispness in Washington's hair, the definition in the eagle's feathers, and the boldness of its lettering is almost miraculous. That's why this piece is more than just a coin. It's a survivor of history. Now let's talk about its unique features. This coin is instantly recognizable by the Denver D mint mark, stamped proudly under the date on the obverse. The lightware shows it lived in circulation, yet it avoided the deep scratches and flattening that destroyed most of its brothers. It carries a natural, honest look, authentic, untouched, and unmistakably rare. For collectors, those are the hallmarks of true value. And when it comes to rarity and demand, the story gets even more electrifying. Millions may have been minted, but the number of surviving very fine specimens is shockingly small. That scarcity is what drives collectors into fierce competition whenever one appears on the market. Auctions heat up, prices soar, and bidders know they're not just chasing a coin. They're chasing a piece of treasure that could vanish from opportunity at any moment. So what about the value? Here's where the suspense breaks wide open. The current market value of the 84D Washington quarter in very fine condition is an unbelievable $85,800. Yes, you heard that right. $85,800 for a coin that most people wouldn't think twice about spending. This is not a fantasy number. This is the real, up-to-date figure being realized in today's auction market. And here's the thrilling part. The value is increasing day by day. Collectors know what they're holding, and each passing sale pushes the market upward. Owning one of these coins is not just owning money. It's owning a treasure chest that grows richer over time. Here's my tip for collectors. Whenever you come across a 1984D quarter, never dismiss it. Examine it carefully. Look at the condition, pay attention to the details, and if you find one that meets the standard, you may be staring at a life-changing discovery. Protect it, authenticate it, and treasure it. Because this isn't just a coin, it's a piece of American history that carries the power of a fortune. The conclusion is simple, but powerful. The 1984 D Washington quarter is living proof that treasures don't just belong in museums or buried in the ground. They're alive, circulating among us, waiting to be found by the keen eye. And here at US Coinworth Secrets, I bring you these faithful, truthful updates daily, so you'll never miss your chance to uncover the next great discovery. And don't forget, we've only reached coin number 6. The next ones on this list will take us even higher, with values so astonishing that they'll leave you stunned. If you thought $85,800 was shocking, just wait until you see what's next. We've already uncovered coins from the 80s worth fortunes, but this next one shows us just how deceptive appearances can be. Coin number 7 on our list isn't flashy, it isn't ancient, and at first glance it doesn't look like anything special. But in reality, it's one of the most thrilling treasures circulating in America today. I'm talking about the 1987 P. Washington quarter, struck at the Philadelphia Mint. To most people, it's just a quarter from the late 1980s, a time when millions were being minted year after year. But what separates this one from the rest is its survival, its scarcity, and the way it has become a collector's obsession in the auction market. Let's set the scene with a bit of history and background. In 1987, the U.S. Mint was still producing the long-running Washington quarter design. George Washington's proud bust on the obverse, paired with the iconic heraldic eagle on the reverse. The copper-nickel-clad composition remained the same, a standard of modern coinage. But despite being struck in the millions, the Philadelphia issues of that year developed a reputation among collectors. They simply don't survive well. Most ended up worn flat from decades of circulation, leaving behind almost no collectible examples. And that's what makes this very fine survivor such a miracle. This coin has endured the trials of circulation while still keeping its beauty intact. Washington's hairlines are clear, the eagle's feathers stand strong, the rims are bold, and the lettering remains crisp. That kind of preservation for a 1987 P is incredibly rare. So rare that when one appears on the auction block, it becomes the centerpiece of fierce bidding wars. The unique features here come not just from its preservation, but from its mint mark. That tiny P under the date connects it to Philadelphia, and collectors know how challenging it is to find Philadelphia issues of the mid-1980s in premium condition. The contrast between the millions minted and the handful that survived is what transforms this coin from change into treasure. Now let's talk about rarity and collector demand. Yes, millions were produced, but almost all of them are gone in terms of collectible value. Very fine survivors are incredibly scarce, and collectors treat them like gold. Every auction becomes a competition. Every listing gets flooded with attention. And every sale pushes the value higher, as more and more collectors realize just how hard this coin is to find. And now here's the revelation you've been waiting for. The current market value of the 1987 Washington quarter in very fine condition is an astonishing $77,000. Yes, $77,000. That is today's real value, not a story from the past. And it's climbing. Every new auction, every discovery, every collector joining the hunt fuels this coin's ascent. Owning one of these isn't just owning a quarter. It's like holding a personal treasure vault in your hand. So here's my tip for collectors. Always check your 1987 quarters carefully, especially those with the P mint mark. If you see strong detail, if the condition holds, you may be staring at a fortune. Protect it, get it graded, and know that you're holding something extraordinary. The conclusion is clear. The 1987 P isn't just another quarter. It's a survivor of millions, a coin that defied the odds. And today it stands as one of the most valuable Washington quarters in existence. And here at U.S. Coinworth Secrets, I bring you these revelations faithfully every day. So you'll never miss your chance to uncover the next great treasure hiding in your own change. And remember, we're not done yet. We've still got 3 coins to go. And as we move higher, the values and stories only grow more shocking. If $77,000 amazed you, just wait until you see what the next coins are worth. Stay tuned. As we push forward into the final stretch of our countdown, we arrive at a coin that defies all expectations. Coin number 8 is living proof that beauty isn't always about being shiny, spotless, or perfect. Sometimes the greatest treasures wear a rugged coat of age, an old, dirty look that conceals a fortune. I'm talking about the 1984 Washington quarter, struck at the Philadelphia Mint. On the surface, it may look ordinary, even worn, but beneath that exterior lies a story so powerful that it has become one of the most sought-after quarters of its era. Let's begin with the history and background. In 1984, the Washington quarter was still the workhorse of America's currency system. Millions upon millions rolled off the presses in Philadelphia, feeding an economy on the rise. Yet, despite the massive production numbers, very few of these coins survived in collectible condition. Most were tossed into circulation, beaten down over decades of daily use. But a rare handful endured, pieces that today are regarded as priceless survivors of their time. This coin in fine condition with a beautiful old dirty look is one of those survivors. Its composition is the standard copper-nickel clad, with its copper core faintly visible on the edge. But its true value comes not from its metal, but from its journey. The obverse still carries the strong bust of George Washington, while the reverse holds the majestic heraldic eagle. The fine condition means wear is visible, yes, but the design remains clear and proud. And those old dirty marks across the surfaces, they're not flaws. They're character. They're history sealed into metal, proof that this coin lived, survived, and still shines as a collector's treasure. The unique features of this coin make it unforgettable. The P mint mark places it firmly in Philadelphia, a mint that produced huge numbers but left behind very few collectible gems. And collectors adore the fact that its slightly rugged look tells a story of authenticity. It's not a coin pulled straight from mint sets or locked away in collections from the beginning. It's a coin that lived in the real world, endured the passage of time, and came out the other side with dignity intact. Now let's talk about rarity and collector demand. The 1984 P may have been produced in the millions, but finding one in collectible fine condition is incredibly rare. The market knows it. Collectors know it. And every time one appears at auction, it ignites bidding wars. Why? Because the demand for these survivors far outweighs the supply. People want them, they compete for them, and in the end, the price climbs higher and higher. And here's where we pull back the curtain. The current market value of the 1984 Washington quarter in fine condition with its beautiful old dirty look is an astounding $75,000. That's $75,000 for a coin most people would overlook as worn and ordinary. But make no mistake, this isn't fiction, it's fact. It's the truth of today's auction market, and the price is only going up. Day by day, with every new sale, with every new collector joining the hunt, the value rises. Owning one of these coins is like holding a hidden fortune in disguise, a treasure chest that reveals its worth only to those who know how to see. So here's my tip for collectors. Never, ever dismiss a quarter just because it looks old or dirty, especially the 1984 P. Look closely. Examine the details. If the design is still clear, if the mint mark is visible, and if the coin carries that authentic old look, you may be holding one of the greatest treasures of modern American coinage. The conclusion is undeniable. The 1984 P is more than just a quarter. It's a reminder that true value often hides beneath the surface, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and a faithful heart to uncover it. And here at U.S. Coin Worth Secrets, I bring you these truths daily, faithfully, so you'll always know what treasures might be lying in your change. And keep in mind, we're only at coin number 8. With just 2 coins left, the values are about to climb even higher, and the stories will only get more unbelievable. If 75,000 shocked you, just wait until you see what comes next. We're closing in on the end of this countdown. And with each step, the stakes get higher, the suspense gets stronger, and the treasures get even more unbelievable. At number 9, we have a coin that proves lightning can strike twice in the same year, but in a very different way. This is the 1987 D Washington quarter, a coin struck in Denver carrying its tiny but powerful D mint mark. And today it stands as one of the most desirable treasures among collectors. Let's start with a bit of history and background. In 1987, the mint was still producing the long-running Washington quarter design, first introduced in 1932. By then, the copper-nickel-clad composition was well established, balancing durability with everyday utility. Millions of 1987 quarters flowed out of both Philadelphia and Denver, but here's the twist. While the Philadelphia P issue was already scarce in collectible condition, the Denver D has its own story of survival. The majority of these coins were churned into circulation, serving their purpose, spending decades bouncing from pocket to pocket until only a tiny fraction remained worthy of collector interest. The unique features of this coin make it unforgettable. The D mint mark beneath the date marks its Denver origin, and for collectors, Denver mintages of the late 1980s hold a reputation for scarcity and higher grades. The fact that this coin has survived in very fine condition, where Washington's profile remains sharp, the eagle's wings still detailed, and the lettering strong, is nothing short of remarkable. It stands out in a sea of worn, lifeless examples, and that's what makes it a jewel for collectors. Now let's talk about rarity and collector demand. Yes, millions were produced, but how many still exist today in very fine condition? The answer? Almost none. And that scarcity is exactly what drives demand. When a 1987 D of this caliber hits the auction block, it transforms into a magnet for attention. Bidders fight for it. Collectors chase it. And each sale seems to end at a higher price than the last. And here's where the suspense lifts. The current market value of the 1987 D Washington quarter in very fine condition is $75,000. That's $75,000 for a coin that most people would overlook as just another piece of change. But make no mistake, this isn't fiction. This is today's reality in the auction market. These coins are skyrocketing in value, and the trend shows no signs of slowing down. Owning one of these isn't just owning a collectible, it's like holding a vault of wealth in the palm of your hand. Here's my tip for collectors. Don't underestimate Denver mint quarters from the 1980s. Check your 1987 Ds closely. Look for crisp detail, strong rims, and a condition that sets it apart. If you have one like this, you're not just holding a coin, you're holding history, rarity, and treasure rolled into one. The conclusion is clear. The 1987 D Washington quarter proves that even the most ordinary-looking coins can carry fortunes. It is a survivor, a symbol of hidden wealth, and a reminder that the change jingling in your pocket might just contain a miracle. And here at U.S. Coin Worth Secrets, I bring you these revelations faithfully every single day, so you never miss your chance to uncover the next great discovery. And now we're down to the final coin. Number 10, the climax of this journey. If the last few coins left you speechless, wait until you see the final one. Its story, its rarity, and its value will leave you stunned. Stay tuned. The best is yet to come. And here it is, the moment you've been waiting for. We've traveled through decades, uncovered hidden treasures, and revealed fortunes hiding in plain sight. But nothing, absolutely nothing, compares to the coin at number 10. This is the 1979 Washington quarter with no mint mark. A coin that looks simple at first glance. But behind that modest appearance lies one of the greatest treasures in modern American numismatics. Let's dive into its history and background. The year was 1979 in the U.S. Mint was still striking Washington quarters in the copper-nickel-clad composition we all recognize today. But here's where the magic happens. Unlike most coins that proudly display their mint marks, this quarter carries none. No P, no D, no S, just the date, 1979, standing alone beneath Washington's portrait. That missing mint mark is no mistake to a collector. It's a sign of rarity, a sign of uniqueness, and the reason this coin has achieved legendary status. Its composition may be ordinary, copper and nickel fused together, but its story is extraordinary. For decades, people spent 1979 quarters without a second thought. But when collectors discovered that certain Philadelphia issues carried no mint mark, the chase began. Today, finding one in circulation is almost impossible. And finding one in very fine condition, with sharp details, bold rims, and Washington's features still strong, is like striking pure treasure. The unique features of this coin go beyond its missing mint mark. Its survival is itself a marvel. Millions of 1979 quarters were struck, but most were worn to nothingness in circulation. Only a rare handful survived in a condition worthy of serious collectors. That combination, no mint mark, plus high-quality preservation, makes this coin one of the ultimate prizes of Washington quarter collecting. And let's talk about rarity and collector demand. Every collector knows about the 1979 no mint mark. It's legendary, it's coveted, and it's always in demand. Auction houses feature them as star lots. Collectors compete fiercely, and then every sale proves one thing. The market wants these coins, and the price climbs higher every single year. So now the moment of truth. The current market value of the 1979 no mint mark Washington quarter in very fine condition is an eye-popping $80,300. Yes, over $80,000 for a quarter most people would overlook as pocket change. And that's today's value. Tomorrow, it could be even higher. This isn't just a coin, it's a treasure chest disguised as everyday money. It's proof that riches are hiding in plain sight, waiting for the sharp-eyed to discover them. Here's my tip for collectors. Always pay attention to your 1979 quarters. If you don't see a mint mark, don't dismiss it. Check the details, check the condition, and remember, you may be holding a piece of history worth more than most people could ever imagine. Protect it, treasure it, and know that you've uncovered one of the greatest hidden fortunes of American coinage. And so the conclusion of this journey is powerful. The 1979 no mint mark quarter is more than just the number one coin on our list. It's a symbol of how something small, something ordinary, can hold the power to change your life. It's a reminder that even today, treasures still circulate, waiting to be discovered by those who look closely. But before we end, let me leave you with this outro hook. Today we revealed 10 of the most valuable and ultra-rare Washington quarters, but trust me, this is just the beginning. There are even more coins out there, coins you'd never believe could carry such staggering values. And in my next video, I'll be uncovering them for you. You don't want to miss it. So, subscribe now to US Coinware Secrets, where every day I bring you faithful, trustworthy updates on the treasures hiding in your own pocket change. Hit that bell so you'll be the first to know when the next fortune is revealed. Because remember, your next coin find could be worth not just a fortune, but a treasure beyond imagination. Stay tuned, stay faithful, and keep hunting. The treasure is out there, and it might just be in your hands right now.